Hello everyone, welcome back to Fair Division Day 5. We're going to do some more loan divider stuff today, so this would be like the second day of going over what loan divider is and how it works. And remember, the cool thing about loan divider is that it allows us to do continuous divisions amongst more than two people, which is extremely important, right? Because there's going to be a lot of scenarios where you're going to have more than two people that you need to divide something amongst. All right, so let's take a look here at an example again. We've got Hector, Theo, and Leti, and they are dividing up their grandfather's land into three separate parcels. All right, so they inherited this land from their grandfather. They got to split it up amongst the three of them. So based on an evaluation of how the land could be split up based on geographical features, the grandsons make a bid on the three pieces of land. Who gets which pieces? So let's see. We can tell from the evaluations that Hector was the divider. All right, because all three of Hector's pieces are exactly the same. So obviously Hector was selected to be the divider here, which means Theo and Larry are the choosers. All right, and they're going to go through and make declarations, right? So once we can see their evaluations, we can see which pieces they would be okay with, right? So if we're dividing amongst three people, a fair share would be 1/3 or 33.33%. Okay, so anything that's 33.3% or more, they would be okay with. So for Theo would be okay with piece 1 and piece 3. Right? So for his declaration, he would say piece 1 and piece 3. He would be okay with those two pieces. Larry would be okay with piece 1 and piece 3 as well. And since Hector was the divider, he's going to be okay with all of them. All right, so that's what they mean by doing declarations. Now, once we have the declarations, we can start doing assignments. And sometimes based on those declarations that we get from the three people involved in the division, we can make a nice assignment. It sometimes just works out nice where we can give each person a piece of the land that they're going to be happy with. So for instance, if I went to Theo and said, okay, I'm going to give Theo piece 1 because he was okay with piece 1, then I can go up here and get rid of piece 1 and all the other declarations, and then I would realize, okay, well, Larry is okay with piece 3, so I'm going to give Larry piece 3, which means Hector is going to be left with piece 2. And this would be a good assignment because Hector is okay with piece 2 because he was okay with all of them, and Theo is okay with piece 1, and Larry was okay with piece 2. Piece 3, which he valued at 35%. Okay, so this would be a good, easy assignment using that loan divider method. We didn't need a second round, so that one just worked out that way. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. All right, so we have brothers Carl, Danny, and Evan, and they are dividing a cake. Carl cuts the cake into what he thinks is fairly sized pieces and his brothers bid. Right, so they tell us in the problem that Carl's going to be the divider, and we can see his valuations, right? So if you are the divider, automatically, whatever pieces you create, you have to assume that they are equal in value for the divider. All right, so for Carl's declaration, he's going to be okay with all pieces. Danny, again, so we're looking for shares that are above 33.33%, right? Because we're dividing amongst three people. So Danny's only going to be okay with piece 3. Right, piece 1 and piece 2 are below the 33.33, so he would only be okay with that third piece. Evan's in the same boat. Right, so Evan has 30% on piece 1 and piece 2. He would not be happy with either one of those. He's only going to be happy with piece 3. Okay. So we can immediately see there's not going to be a nice way to give those pieces away. The only piece that Danny and Evan are okay with is piece 3. So there's no way to nicely do this. Right? So to kind of think about what happened here, right? Carl went in, here's our cake, and he cut this thing up into 3 pieces. And let's say these are the 3 pieces that he created, and that was horrible. Let me get that last one. Maybe I can do that one a little bit better. There we go. All right, and you can say, okay, hey, here's piece 1, here's piece 2, and here's piece 3, and we have all their evaluations up here. So piece 3 is the one that Danny and Evan want. Carl's okay with all 3 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to give Carl one of these pieces. Let's give Carl this piece right here. We give Carl piece 1, and now piece 1 is gone, And so is Carl. Carl's no longer a part of this. He walks away with piece 1, and Carl's going to be happy. And then what we do is we recombine these 2 remaining pieces. So this division that Carl had put in there, we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to recombine those 2 pieces into one big piece. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to round 2. We're going to pick a new divider between Danny and Evan because Carl's no longer a part of it. Let's say Danny is the divider. Okay, and Danny comes in and splits it like this instead, right? So now we have this piece over here and this piece over here. Okay, and we say, okay, well, Danny finds them both to be of equal value, right? Because he was the divider. So he's okay with all pieces. And Evan takes a look at this, and let's call this piece 1 and piece 2. And if you're looking at it like me, like if I were Evan and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, man, piece 1 is a lot bigger than piece 2. So I'm thinking piece 1 is the one that I'm going to be okay with. I would not be okay with getting piece 2 in this situation. For whatever reason, Danny finds these both to be equal in value. He has his reasons, I'm sure, but for me, I want that bigger piece, right? So that's what Evan would probably say. All right, so Evan's going to be okay with piece 1. Danny's going to be okay with either one of these pieces. All right, so when we go to talk about the final assignments, remember Carl got piece 1 from round 1. And I'm going to stipulate which round the piece came from because piece 1 and piece 2, piece 1 is not the same from round 1 as it was in round 2. Okay, so Evan is going to get piece 1 from round 2. Okay, and Evan would be happy with that piece, which means Danny's going to be left over with piece 2 from round 2. All right, and this would be the final assignment that results from the lone divider method. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so another one, we've got sisters Mary, Nadia, and Lisa, and they are dividing up their favorite custard. Lisa cuts the cake into what she thinks is fairly sized pieces and her sister's bid. So we can see Lisa's divisions here. She values each slice of cake at exactly 1/3 or 33.33%. And then we go through and we start getting our declarations for each of the 3 sisters. So Lisa's going to be okay with all of them. And then we go through Mary. Mary is going to be okay with piece 2, and Nadia is going to be okay with piece 2 and piece 3. Okay, so I like to start with the pickiest person first, right? So Mary's the most picky. She's only okay with one piece of this cake, and that's going to be piece 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and give her piece 2. And then I go up here and I eliminate those pieces from the declarations, which means Nadia becomes the next most needy person or the next most picky person because she's only going to be okay with piece 3 now. So that's okay. I'll give her piece 3. And since Lisa was okay with all of them, I can easily give her piece 1. And all 3 of them would walk away happy. So there was no need for a round 2 in this scenario. All right. Let's go to another one. So we've got Maggie, Meredith, Holly, and Zoe, and they are dividing up a piece of, it doesn't say, it's weird. I'll have to go back and read the book and see what that was a piece of. Okay, well they're using the lone divider method. Oh, it's a piece of land, here it is. Piece of land. I wonder why I forgot to write that. All right, who cares? All right, so the value of the 4 pieces of land in the eyes of each player are shown below. All right, so first question is, who was the divider? And we can see that right here with Zoe, right? Because all of Zoe's pieces are equal, so she's got to be the divider. Okay, so we're going to say Zoe. Right? And if playing honestly, what would each player's declarations be? Okay, so I didn't give you a table this time, but that's okay. You can just organize this however you feel comfortable. So I'm going to say Maggie, Meredith, Holly, and Zoe. Okay, and so if we go through Maggie's now, remember fair share here is going to be different, right? You might want to jot this down since we're dividing up amongst 4 people. The fair share is 25%. 25%. So each of these people are only going to be happy if they get 25% or more of the land. Okay, so Maggie would be happy with piece 2 and piece 3. There we go. Meredith is going to be happy with piece 1, piece 2, and that's it. Holly will be happy with piece 3, and that's it. And then Zoe's going to be happy with all of them because she was the divider. Okay? And then we find the final division. So this is when we do the assignments, right? So I'm going to say, I'm going to make some columns again just to keep things organized. So we got Maggie, Meredith, Holly, and Zoe. There we go. So let's go with the most picky person first. That's going to be Holly because she's only okay with one piece. So automatically I'm going to give piece 3 to Holly. And that eliminates piece 3 as an option for the other players, right? So now Maggie becomes the next most picky person because she's only going to be okay with piece 2. So I'm going to give Maggie piece 2, and then piece 2 gets eliminated from the other players. And now when I get to Meredith, Meredith is the only one left that Meredith would be happy with is piece 1, so I'll give her piece 1, which means the last piece, piece 4, would have to go to Zoe, and since Zoe was okay with all of them, she will be happy. Okay, so this worked out nicely. We did not need a second round here, but there is a potential, just to keep in mind, there is potential, like if you have 6 people, there's a potential to do multiple rounds of this. You might have to recombine several times and redo the lone divider method several times before you finally get to an assignment that works for everyone. All right, so we've seen some pretty simple examples where we might do 1 extra round or no extra rounds at all, but do keep in mind that they can get more complicated. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully that helped out with the lone divider stuff. Don't forget to check out the other videos too that are at the bottom of the unit. Those can be helpful as well. And let me know if you have any questions in the Zoom chat. All right, guys, have a great day.